What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily live stream. We started a little bit late today. Had a really big meeting. We had this monthly meeting, TJ and I, here at the Hit Network. So I had to take care of that. I just wanted to say, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the show. My name is Kelly Kellam. You can find my info right there at Kelly Kellam. We'll pull that up here in a little bit on Twitter. Just want to say thank you, everybody that shows up. I know we were a little late today, but thank you for all. As soon as we posted the link here and posted this going live, you all started showing up. So shout out to each and every one of you. Thank you. Thank you to everybody that's shown up. Rock and Metal News, what's up? Karen Swigart Harris, Alexander G, Thebit, I'm not sure. Crimson Caravan Company, Kingston Crows. Who else we got in here? Total Clinic Solutions, Learning. We got everybody. All the A team is in the house right now. Crypto Kid, B Team Crypto. How you all doing? How you feeling? Hit those emojis. Make them pop. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Ding that bell. Let me go ahead and pull up my screen here. Okay, we're all good. Throw a 1 in chat if all the audio, visual, everything's good. My hat's a little crooked, but that's okay. Man, yesterday, busy days doing all the work here at BitLab, doing the stream, doing some stuff with BitBoy Crypto. Working on some bunch of stuff on the back end while also house hunting, trying to find an apartment because I did just move to Atlanta. And you know what? I want to talk about that a little bit because as much as I talk about this to you all on a daily basis, I have my own confrontation with this yesterday. And I think it's important that we all think about this. And that is this. I went and looked at 2 different buildings yesterday and they were both awesome. The second one was, as awesome or more awesome than the first one, but it was also a lot closer in towards Atlanta because, the Hit Network studios are, about 45 minutes from the city. I'm moving down here from New York. So I can touch base with the rural living here and there with the very deep in suburbia. Like we're beyond suburbia here in where the Hit Network is out in Kennesaw, almost Ackworth area. So I was like, I want to touch something a little closer to the city. So I went and looked at one more apartment and it was down near the Battery, which is where the Brave Stadium is. And it was sick. You don't understand. It was so sick. And I walked into 2 apartments. Of course, the realtor did a good job because he took me in what he called the shock and awe one first. And it made me, for a moment, almost forget all these principles that we talk about on this show. And that's sometimes you have to have delayed gratification. Sometimes you have to ask yourself, should I be spending this money right now? And man, I'm telling you what, I went to bed last night dreaming about that first apartment. It was this ridiculous 2-bedroom, as Nick Schwartzen would call it, palatial regalia. I mean, this thing, like you walk in, it was sick. And I was trying to come up with all the excuses in my head as to why I deserved it. And I could afford it. Yes, I absolutely could afford it. But can I afford it? Think about this. When I'm tying this all into crypto. If we're at a point right now where the market is low and buying opportunity is high, do I want to take on a 13-month lease where I'm spending $1,000 more than I was planning on, which I can afford, but that means, $12,000 a year that I could be investing in the markets, that I could be turning that $12,000 into $1 million in the course of the next 2 years. Is that extra $1,000 or extra 700 square feet, is it worth that $1 million that it's costing me in the long run? So I had a long conversation with myself, where you have the angel and the devil on your shoulder explaining why you deserve something and why it makes sense. You can come up with the reasons why it makes sense, but if you really do an honest pros and con sort of, in your mind or on paper or however you do it, don't ask exactly what is it serving now. We always need, especially when the markets are like they are right now, you need to ask yourself, what is this costing me in the long run? Yes, in the immediate gratification of having a sick ass pad would have been great. But is it the moment that once each day passes that you don't have that day any longer? But this money that I could be investing rather than putting into, some extra square footage, is it worth that cost in the long run? And, I had to realize, I had to turn my ego off. As Morel here at the Hit Network says, ego, edging God out. right? You're not making the right decisions because you're satisfying something that is an immediate return versus a long-term investment. And this show is all about how do we navigate our lives. It's not just the charts. Let's think about this. The charts are an exemplification of how we're living our lives, and it goes vice versa. So if I'm making stupid decisions in my life, I'm also affecting how I'm able to navigate the charts, meaning how I'm able to navigate what the long-term investment's going to be. So I decided, it's like, you know what? I don't need this little McMansion apartment that's in the sickest. I don't need it. This other apartment I saw was just as good, cost $1,000 less a month. So I gotta make the right decision. But you know what? That's what you got to do, and that's what I'm doing. So yeah, that's right, Alexander G. Keep it simple, or as my dad would say, keep it simple, stupid. KISS, right? Keep it simple, minimalistic, and invest. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Because you know what? Here's the deal: the one bedroom is sick. Also, it just doesn't have the second bedroom, and that's okay. I'll get there. I can aspire to get there. And you know what? If I invest that extra $1,000 now, instead of getting the ridiculous 2-bedroom right now, if I invest that extra $1,000 a month this year, then in 2 years' time, I can, buy a spot here in Atlanta that has 4 bedrooms instead of renting a spot that I thought was sick for a year with 2 bedrooms. And it's just it's silly. So Army Piper, what's up, my friend? Army Piper. This is just spur of the moment, my friend. If you are free, send me a tweet right now, a private DM. And if you're open to it, I'll send you a Zoom link. We'll get you up as a guest here on the stream today. It'd be great to talk with some people about what's going on in the markets. We have some big news that's come out, and you know what? It could change everything. And I want you to realize there's the word could in there. Nothing is guaranteed. I don't care how codified something may look. I don't care if Hinman, aka the Hinman documents, also known as documents, I can speak, I promise you. The Hinman documents have revealed that, there was some, coordination and group discussion within the SEC. That this is why the SEC was trying to prevent the Hinman documents from coming out. And that is, there was, internal discussions about framing what a security was, whether or not digital assets were securities. And this, this is all coming to light because of the XRP case. And let's think about what else is going on right now with Binance and Coinbase. The issue at hand is multivariate between what's happening at Binance and Coinbase, those court cases brought forth by the SEC, and now, XRP, which has been, 3 years in the making. But all of these are going to impact each other. Binance is a little different. It has a little bit more to do with business practices. Coinbase and XRP are very closely tied together. It's about what is a security? Is it legal? Is it not legal in terms of digital assets, how they're being traded? And the characterization, or in this case, the uncertainty about what a security is causing panic, and rightly so, for centralized exchanges. We look at eToro that just delisted a bunch of coins. Robinhood just delisted a couple coins the other day. A lot of the coins that were listed on the SEC charges. Then you also had, of course, Coinbase a couple of years ago delisting XRP. And as BitBoy pointed out, it would be a boss move if Coinbase relisted XRP before the conclusion of the XRP case. But that's a speculative thing. I don't know if that would happen or not, but that would just be, I'm not even gonna say it's a crass what I was about to say. Big swinging. That's, you can fill in the rest there. But there's a lot that hinges on all these things, and they're all going to lean on each other as to what's going on. Let's see. I believe, I'm going to talk through with you while I'm sending Mr. Army Piper a Zoom link here. We'll get him on the screen. But what we want to talk about today is there's a couple things that came up on the, let me see, multitasking here. There's a couple things that came up in those Hinman documents that, basically suggest, multiple people conversation internally at the SEC that have, what I actually think, and this is a funny thing, funny being it's complete misappropriation of time, funding, use implementation of services from the SEC, they're completely dropping the ball because these internal documents, these emails, lay out what I actually agree with. It lays out a pretty damn good framework for what a security should be. Now, what does that mean? Well, let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead. Piper, I'm sending you the link now. I'll bring you on in a few minutes so you can just sit in the back. You know what? Dang it. Hold on, everybody. I have to, while that's happening, I've got to charge because of, let me mute. I'm going to have to, yeah, Army Piper, I'm not going to be able to hear you for a few minutes. I'll bring you up in about probably 8 minutes or so. So everybody, what were we talking about here? Okay. Live TV, baby. Hinman documents outline a wonderful framework that I agree with for what a security, how they should be classified, and how digital assets fit into that sort of consideration. And the crazy thing about this is these emails are, I mean, years old. I think 4 or 5 years. Okay. And had they moved forward with this rather than been pressured by the banks, and this is a little bit of speculation, and I'll admit that, had they moved forward with this and not been pressured not to, or made the decision not to, or if Gary Gensler, when he came in, didn't just throw out all this framework that, I mean, it really outlines something that makes sense. One of the things we need to talk about here is what the heck is a security? Why does it matter? A lot of people don't understand this. What a security is when you make an investment, when you're having people invest in something that relies on the work of others. Now, in the Hinman emails, let's go ahead and pull them up. We're going to kind of come right here. Where is it at? Boom, boom, boom. The Hinman emails, one of the things, and it's, you can find them. I retweeted this as well. I'm going to go ahead and follow this individual. If you're ever watching somebody on YouTube or retweeting anything they post, or you even hitting the like button, you should be following, hitting the like button, subscribing to anybody that's posting content that you're engaging with. It's just it's a good way to show respect back to people that are putting their time and energy to do stuff. So if you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. Join us here in the BitLab community. If you're watching over on the Hit Network, make sure you come over to youtube.com/@BitLab Academy. Now, in these documents, if we pull these up, I don't want to go through these one by one, but essentially what a security is when people invest into something and it's relying on the work to others. It's very simplified. That's a little bit of dumbed down, but that's the most simple way to think about it. So if we think about the ICOs, the altcoins, think about the altcoin markets. If you have people investing, for instance, Cardano, or I'm going to name a bunch. And I'm not suggesting anything is or isn't a security. I'm talking about the nature of how these things came to be. A lot of these altcoin projects, okay, when they were initially released, aka ICO, initial coin offering, a lot of these protocols were people were investing in the idea of what they were going to be developed into. And the key word there is be developed into. And who develops these things? A group of people working to build that project, working to build that protocol. So a lot of these, under securities law, a lot of these altcoins, and by that definition, were initially securities. Now, similar to the library token case that was resolved, and in the framework that initially that was released as a security, and then when sold sold on the secondary market, meaning you did not buy the initial coin offering, and then once it's resold, it's no longer a security, with the caveat of you also need to see that the token or the protocol also has a necessary and noticeable amount of decentralization. Now, Cardano is an interesting case, and many of these altcoins, because they were not offered, some were, some weren't. I'm not going to list all the ones that were and weren't offered in foreign districts, foreign jurisdictions. For instance, ICO is released in Japan, I believe. And so that would not have even been a part of our securities discussion because it's released in another territory. And then, of course, Cardano is very decentralized, and it's now, the protocol has been built. It's working. You still have teams of people, and it's open source. You know, people are working towards building out the project, but it's not the initial sale where you're hoping the team does something. Now it is a utility token that has utility, and it is decentralized by nature. It's the most, I would argue, one of the most decentralized. So it kind of falls in that category that library token was, and that is that it is no longer, if it ever was, it can no longer be considered a security. So these documents are basically, it's his sort of stream of thought and breaking down exactly how, why, and what a security is, and as it relates to digital assets, and then why, how you can get to the determination of when a digital asset is no longer security. And the crazy thing about this is, look at this, June 11th, 2018. This is 5 years ago, 2 days ago, 5 years ago, they had an outline of something that would have made perfect sense. Now, in a way, I will say the silver lining to this is that because this took 5 years, we were able to get a massive amount of ICOs that were, you know, we got a lot of liquidity and interest come into the space because we had so many different coins absolutely pop off, and a lot of people made a lot of money. Now, with that, we also had, at the same time, in the same vein, a lot of projects with no utility, scams, you know, bad actors, people acting in bad faith. So those things are all intermixed in this. Now, on the one hand, we were able to drive a lot of liquidity capital out of other industries into the crypto asset ecosystem because nobody, you know, they kind of let everything run wild back in 2017 and 2018. But the downside of that is now, you know, it's like we could have had a framework early on to do this. Then the consideration is, had they had the framework back then, it would have truncated and really limited the amount of development that came into the space back in 2017 and 2018. So what do we say about that? What do we do? I don't know. But where we're at now, all we can do in any stage in life, no matter what's happening, whether you break a leg, whether you lose a loved one, whether you lose a job, whether you get a job, as Tom Hanks pointed out, he said it's one of his favorite phrases, and it could be, most people think about this when bad times are happening, but this is true in all times. This too shall pass. If things are going great, this too shall pass. If things are going bad, this too shall pass. If you're in great shape, this too shall pass. If you're in terrible shape, this too shall pass. Same thing is true right now when we're talking about securities, when we're talking about what's going on with the Hinman documents, XRP, Coinbase, Binance. All of this trouble, all this confusion, all this uncertainty, this too shall pass. I do believe that all these things are kind of congregating into a certain dates. You know, this week right now. I do think XRP is going to get a favorable. I don't think it's going to be a complete, you know, dismissal of the case, but I do think it's going to come to more favorable terms for XRP than it is for the SEC. And if that should happen, that's going to have repercussions, likely very positive ones, for the rest of the altcoin ecosystem. Some of those may not benefit because they may be determined in other aspects, or the way that they are or aren't decentralized may have impacts. It's going to be a varied case individually based on each altcoin project. But the point being, these Hinman documents are outlining internal discussions within the SEC, really breaking down when things are securities and at what point they can transition out of being securities. And most of, I mean, I would argue all the coins that the SEC has recently listed are charged with being securities under this internal discussion with the SEC members, the Hinman documents. I would argue, and this is my own speculation, so don't take this literally. That most of these coins will eventually be determined not to be security. The caveat with this, and we all need to be aware, is that there's no timeline on when these things play out. Look at how long XRP has taken. Now, are we going to expect once XRP case, if it were to come favorably, does that mean it's going to fast track either the dismissal or the settlement of the other cases? It's possible. Will it happen? Who knows? What I do know is that Gary Gensler and the central banks and many people that are of the thinking of Gary Gensler that are in positions of power in the U.S. government, I have no doubt that they are going to try every trick in the book to to draw out these cases as absolutely long as possible, because it does put pressure on the industry. They're trying to sow uncertainty, and it's not, I was about to say it's not fair, but we can't have that thought, because markets aren't fair. Life isn't fair. All we can do is adapt or die. All we can do is tackle this market, use capital protection, and move strategically between assets. Basically have liquidity flowing and reallocating in our portfolios based on what we think forward-looking is going to happen. Now, I'm going to bring on our boy. Give me 1 second. I got to get my. All righty, we're back. Now, everybody, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, and make sure, welcome to the show. Like I said, my name's Kellam. If this is your first time, I can guarantee you it's not going to be your last time. We do a giveaway I just said do. We do a giveaway every Friday, and make sure you come over to, where is it at? It's all the way back here. Make sure you come over to my page, which is, actually it's right. Nope, right here. Make sure you come over to my page. Give me a follow. I do another Twitter Spaces every Thursday, but come over to the BitLab Academy Twitter page right here at Academy BitLab. Look for the gold check and the hit logo here. Make sure you're following. Right one. Follow this. Hit this retweet. Hit this like. Doing this gets you entered to win. We've given away $100. We've given away multi-month memberships to BitLab Academy. We've given away all kind of stuff. This is how you enter, just by coming and sharing BitLab with your friends and family on your socials. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up. Let me make sure my thing is on. We're going to go ahead and pull up. Where is it at? We're going to go ahead and pull up Army Piper now, friend of mine from another YouTube show here. Okay, here we go. Now, where are we at? Okay, it's going to take me a second, everybody. This is, you're not up yet, Piper. 1 second. I got to, just because we weren't planning on doing this, but I saw you in the room, and I said, let's bring this sucker up. Zoom. Yeah, hold on 1 second. I can never find where the Zoom, there it is. Okay. Yeah, there it is. What's up, Mr. Piper? How you doing?
I'm doing great, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm doing really well. I've just been hustling my little tail off. You are not Crypto Noble. You are Mr. Army Piper. Let's go. I'll just leave it off.
I am Army Piper, the one and only. Yes.
So, Piper, all the news last week coming into today, 13th. Everybody was, it's just crazy. We have the Binance court date, or something's supposed to happen today regarding a potential restraining order against Binance US. We have the Hinman documents out today. We have the CPI number coming today. The CPI number was below. Core was up just a touch, but we're getting, likely we're going to get a pause coming up, determination tomorrow. We've so much going on. What's going through your head right now when you're looking at the markets? What's your secret alpha? What's your secret sauce, baby?
Right now, I'm looking for what are the key levels of support. I'm looking at the fundamentals. Fundamental analysis, I believe, right now is just as important as technical analysis. I will point out that in that document, I don't know if you read through on page 7, but there was something very interesting in there on page 7 of the documents. And it says at the very bottom, it says, "We are not trying to play regulatory gotcha." And dude, it's right here in Hinman's speech, right? We're not trying to play regulatory gotcha. And I swear it's the exact 180 opposite of what Gary Gensler has been doing at every turn. Like, aha, gotcha, got this person. Aha, got that person. Come on. But as far as the markets go, I think that this is going to help. I think it's going to be, especially with the bill that's coming out now, that was put out, to remove Gary Gensler from the SEC seat and to get three Republicans, three Democrats.
Is there any sort of, and this is Congress and the House of Representatives, let's be honest, they're not timely in terms of how fast they move. Was there, because I didn't read through the bill, is there any sort of indication as to when there's going to be a vote on that, or when at any stage of moving forward with that?
No, it's going to move at this. It's going to move at the speed of DC, man. But they do have to get Democrat support in order to pass it. So, like I was telling people this morning, this is your chance to take a look at what your representatives are doing to represent you and your wants from the government. And if they are the people that voted against this bill passing, remember that on election day. That's the only thing you can do with that.
Yeah, I was talking with, I was upstairs because the BitLab set is down, downstairs below where the BitBoy set is upstairs. I was talking with them as they were preparing for the show earlier, and I was like, it's kind of interesting. As unpopular as this statement may be, we're having all these delistings on Robinhood, on eToro, on a number of different sites, or exchanges, and as bad as that is, the silver lining, I think, to that, and I feel terrible for anybody that's holding any of these assets as they're dropping because of this absolute kerfufflery. I don't even know what the word is. Shenanigans.
Shenanigans. Say shenanigans one more time. I dare you.
The Russian and Chinese sort of imposition of how Gary Gensler is trying to run these markets, is running it through enforcement rather than regulation. And that's going to be very clear. What I'm looking forward to is Gary Gensler getting sort of slapped down by Congress, kind of like he did in the last congressional hearing. But the silver lining, I think, beautiful. to these delistings that's happened, I think is, as terrible as it is, I do think it's going to catalyze a lot of these people that are being keyboard warriors in crypto videos. When they get delisted on their assets that they do not believe are securities, it's going to make them more vocal to their representatives. It's going to raise the volume. As terrible as it is, it's going to incentivize the digital militias to go and act, and make their voices heard.
Fact. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I wanted to put that out this morning on our show on Investing Bros was, hey guys, at the end of the day, if this bill doesn't pass, it's got the support of the Republicans. We know this, whether it be a Republican or a Democrat that votes against it, take note, make a list. They're going to release that info of who voted which way, make a list. And if they didn't vote to represent your wants and needs as an American citizen, then it is your duty to remember that on voting day. So when you go to the poll, remember that. So, and that's how I'll be voting. I vote on policies, not on party, and I'll definitely be looking at that. But we had CPI data come out this morning too, which is playing at the same time as all of this info coming out, and FOMC tomorrow. I'm actually looking at the charts, and I think that right now we're hitting some key support levels on the way back down again.
Hey, don't tell us about this. Pull up them charts. Show us.
All right.
Everybody, Army's gonna break down the charts for us today. We're gonna get another look. Hey, while you're pulling that up,
sharing is caring here.
Yeah, while you're pulling that up, I'm going to. Where are you at? Army Piper. Everybody, make sure you go and follow Army Piper. It's right here at Army Piper. It's spelled with letters, starting with the A and ending with the R. ARMYPIPER. Make sure you're giving him a follow. He's also one of the hosts on Investing Bros with our own Tim Warren. Really smart guy, a veteran like myself. He's actually on his terminal leave right now, I believe, and has been in markets for years. Really smart guy. Where are you at? There we are. So I'm going to let you take it away. You can take us through a couple assets, what we're looking at, and why, and what sort of levels we're seeing.
Absolutely, man. So what I'm doing here is I'm looking at Ethereum right now because obviously a lot of info came out this morning on Ethereum. And just to put this into a little bit easier perspective, let me take off I was doing a lot of TA this morning, so I want to take off my fibs there, and I'm going to go ahead and drop off my Market Oracle Pro here. So these lines that run here of color, these purple, the red, this is the trading range, and they're predictive, so they print all the way back here. And what I'm watching right now is this lower green band. I call it the lower support band of the predictive ranges here. And we're getting all the support sitting right on that. Keep in mind, this printed all the way back here that this was the predictive ranges of our trade. Now, normally, price action about 70% of the time will occur between the two gold bands here, with this blue line being the delta. And once we fell out of this, I mean, we were way up high on it at one point on Ethereum, going back on like 6 June. But once we fell through that and got down here to this range, let me bring it in a little more focus there, get rid of my white drawings because I'm not a very good artist, but I'm a better technical analyst than an artist here. I can see right now that we're actually dropping down to this red line here. This red line is from the auto printed chart patterns, and it's a falling channel. We broke out of it. We got confirmation. We had a little pull in retest on it, but it looks like we could be coming back to retest this. I'm looking at about 1,700 for a good trade entry if you're looking to trade on this. But the one thing that I'm going to be watching for is those support levels, because I think that we're probably going to see some dropping today on the markets going into the FOMC tomorrow. And it's looking like right now it's like 97% the last time I looked for if we're going to have a rate hike or not. And it's looking like a pause tomorrow. So with this going on, the support levels being hit that I'm watching, those would be key entries to get into, because I do believe that we're going to see a little bit of movement up. If I pull on the Fibonacci's here to overlay on top of this data, you can see that we've got the golden pocket down here at 1694, so 1700. That's that range that I'm really watching. So throughout the day, I'm going to be watching for us to retest on this chart pattern, probably wick in to hit that 1700 psychological number before it bounces back up. If I look at the pro oscillator here, you can see on the pro oscillator, we did get the ribbon twist up here saying that we were coming down. And right now we're breaking below the zero line, headed down towards the bullish area of the oscillator. Looking at the trend fusion, you can also see that at this candlestick here, it started calling for downside on the trend, and money flow. That's this blue wave here is our MFI money flow index. It's also coming down. So those coming into play right now and all pointing downward. I would say $1,700 is probably my extreme low goal right now for getting in on this, watching 1725. And then if I go over, let's check out XRP, because you can't talk about the Hinman documents without looking at XRP, of course. If we look at here at XRP, we're right now at the golden pocket on XRP. What I do want to point out on this, though, is that if we take a look here, let me get this marker off. Because I right-clicked on it. Thank you for teaching me that, Kelly, by the way. That was an extremely great trick to teach there.
Hey, we all learned.
Right now.
I struggled with that for 5 years, always accidentally still having the marker. I go to move the thing and drive it. God dang it. So when I found out about the right-click function, I was like, yo, I felt so stupid. Yeah.
So no, it works great, man. I appreciate that. So right now, yeah, looking at XRP, we're pushing down on the golden pocket right now. The one thing I am watching is this green line here is a trend assistant line, and it assists you that the trend is on an uptick still. So this is not turning red, but it is starting to get some curvature here. I am going to be watching that to see what happens there. And then right underneath here, we've got the dynamic reactor, which is like a very high trigonometry mathematical calculation of a moving average. But you can see that that's going to be sitting right here about 51.8. So I do think if we pull into the golden pocket, don't move the golden pocket. Let's not do that. I do think if we pull into the golden pocket, we're going to hit that dynamic reactor and that trend assist, and then continue back to the upside there.
So let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Looking at this XRP chart right here, this is a great exemplification that I'm sure you talk about regularly. I've heard you talk about it. I talk about it all the time. It's this idea, buy the rumor, sell the news. Do you think that this volatility, this very small time frame volatility to the upside, wash out liquidity back to the downside, is that sort of whipsaw action in place? Not only, obviously, we had the Hinman documents, but then we also had the CPI come in better, and we got kind of a double pop to the upside and then a sell off. If you had to guess now, looking at this, a week from now, do you think that this is going to have follow through to the upside or follow through to the downside? Do you think that this was a liquidity washout up and down, and which way do you think it's going to go?
So I will point out a couple of things on this to support that. So we already were getting triggered for an upside on this. You can see the money flow all the way back here, like on the 12th. So I guess yesterday morning, we were already starting to get the money flow coming up. The money flow coming down right now, I think, was a buy the rumor, sell the news on this. But ultimately, long term, I think XRP has got one of the most promising outlooks on the market for risk to reward. I mean, the fact that we had, so on this big pump up here, you see this purple check mark here. This actually tells you that it's losing volume in the market. And it says, like, so if you're in a trade off of this buy signal, you're supposed to start taking profit here on a purple check mark. So we already had that printed before the down turn ever happened. But what I want to point out is that hit the platinum pocket. The 887 is the top of the platinum pocket too. So this very much could have been that level that people were watching for. A lot of people don't use the 887. I use the 786 and the 887 as a platinum pocket because it plays out when the golden pocket gets broken, the platinum pocket plays in. We already had the sell-off going on here on this traders number. A lot of people that follow Elliott waves and stuff use that 887. So with the tick mark that we clicked here, and then on top of that, we also got the 887 that was hit. I think that we're going to bounce on the golden pocket and come back up, because if you go back to where this actually came into play, we still had all the way up to 58.4. That 58.4, I still believe, is going to be touched. If it was liquidity, we would have went to 58.4 up here at the 1-to-1 line. We didn't do that yet. I think we're the buy the rumor, sell the news. People sold off at this platinum pocket. I think we're going to find support right here on the dynamic reactor, the trend assist, in line with confluence on the golden pocket. And then we're going to be coming back up to at least grab that liquidity, because no one's going to leave this money on the table, guys. If I go to the 12-hour here, just to give it a little bit easier perspective, no one's leaving this liquidity up here. This is an order block coming in with high volume in it, 10.37 million in the calculation here. So there's a lot of liquidity sitting up here. Watch for us to bounce off this golden pocket, get a continuation, maybe a little bit of resistance bounces on this platinum pocket at the 786, 54.7 cents and 56.5 cents. But once it gets that support up there off of down here, comes up, bounces in, hits that liquidity block, thence where we're going to be watching on this order block for that liquidity grab on that wick that goes back to, let's see here, March 28th. That's where the liquidity play is going to happen. I think the sell-off right now just happened to be the 887. We saw the volume start to drop as soon as it hit the 887 on the fib line, and then pulled back on a buy the rumor, sell the news with the Hinman documents. I think a lot of people shorted, and I think they're going to get caught. I bet you tomorrow, if you look at the liquidation lines and pull up XRP, you're going to see a lot of short liquidations in the next 24 hours.
So let me ask your perspective then, while we have this XRP chart up before, just so everybody knows, we're going to be breaking down a lot more charts here, but we have to talk about XRP because this is long awaited with the Hinman documents. But I wanted to get your perspective, Army, about these Hinman documents, because of course there's going to be speculative sort of considerations that are going to be different person to person. But the way I read them, and I think you were in here when I was talking about it. Do you agree with my statements about some of the things regarding a lot of the ICOs, the way it was framed? I kind of hadn't thought about it that way before, and that there's a lot of speculation. For instance, whether it's Cardano, AVAX, Phantom, a lot of these protocols, they were ICO'd before the development, the full development. Did my thing freeze? Okay, I'm having some struggle here. Let me go ahead and close my Discord. There we go.
Get off the Discord, man.
No, it's I could see on my OBS, my screen was freezing. My computer was struggling. Do you think that the ICOs, the way the Hinman documents are framed, do you agree with it, that a lot of those ICOs were securities, and as such, from how we laid it out, a lot of these things that initially probably that were securities are likely no longer securities because of the decentralized sort of nature that a lot of them are. Do you agree with that?
I do, 100%. So this morning we were, when I was reading through those on the show, I was kind of doing research in real time, and it absolutely, most like SUI, Arbitrum, all these things that are coming out right now, absolutely are going to get hammered by that definition of what is a security and how it can change. The big deal that with all of this information that came out, the major alpha, if you will, is that there is a way that things can decentralize to the point that it is no longer being promoted and marketed by the enterprise, aka Ethereum network or Ethereum Foundation for Ethereum, so on, for Ether token, so on and so forth. And at that point, those things are no longer securities. And so when you look at things like XRP, things like Ethereum, I would say Polygon Matic might have some problems because they got a lot of centralization in their wallets. But Cardano, when you look at those things, I don't think that they're going to be categorized as a security under that definition. One big key takeaway that I pointed out this morning is based on the fact that they were talking about money being made, you investing and buying something with the hope of making money on it that was not promoted by the foundation anymore, but by the availability of supply and demand of the token. I'm not sure what the exact wording was on that, but I think that by default gives two things. One, it means that people are buying the token because of the token itself now, not the enterprise promoting it. Two, I see decentralized exchanges blowing up in the next 12 months.
Yeah,
because
no,
some of the wording of how
I
they
agree
talked
with
about
that.
exchanges in there absolutely said, because a centralized collection of the token to be sold for profit, that tells me places, people like Coinbase and Binance might be in some trouble in the future, but decentralized exchanges are going to absolutely explode.
Well, let me ask you a question about that, because one of the things that I think nobody's really talking about yet, and I'm sure they will, is this just made me think about it because of token distribution. Like you look at something like Solana, which I think is a fine project. Of course, it got crushed a lot because of its association or partnerships with FTX when FTX got taken down. But in addition to that, Solana is one of those things that I was never super interested in investing in because of the token distribution and having the majority of it centralized with the development team and early investors. Is that something that's on the chopping block in consideration? Or should it be in regards to what a security is, if there's a centralized component to how those tokens are allocated from the go?
So I think they need to take that premise of policy and law, and they need to make that the foundation for an entirely new sector policy. That's my opinion. I don't think that you can apply something that existed in 1933 for
before
SEC
a computer was around.
Howie,
yeah.
And apply it to digital fintech. I don't think that that's even, it's not even possible. It's like putting, Department of Transportation road regulations on the airplane instead of creating the FAA. So you being in the Air Force, could you imagine that you had to follow traffic laws for the road as in the air? Like, that's ridiculous thought process.
Well,
so I think what needs to happen.
It's like when I'll reference back. This is to, I heard Ivan on Tech bring this up initially, and I thought it was such a good analogy. When the car started being manufactured and started getting sold, they started. I cannot remember what the name of the law was, but in the UK, they had all these regulations early on that if you wanted a car, it was fine, except in order to drive the car, you had to have two flaggers that walked in front of the car. You had to have an engineer in the car, essentially relegating the car to be just as impactful as a horse was, because you basically could only go at the speed of which the people walking in front of the car were going. And it's like, it's backwards regulation that doesn't understand the technology of the day. So I agree with you. We do need an absolute rectification. I don't know if that's a word or not. We need to transmogrify this. No, we need an adjustment and an improvement in the regulations that are adapted to the technology of the day. And that's very difficult right now with our government officials, because many of them, the majority of their working life didn't even have email because the internet didn't exist. So how are they supposed to even, like, I want to be mad at them, but at the same time, how are they even supposed to understand what Bitcoin and blockchain is when the majority of their adult life computers weren't at the forefront of business practice? You know, it's a very interesting scenario we're in because how fast technology has moved.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, they need to take that info. They need to take that premise of policy and just create a whole new fintech blockchain policy. That's what needs to be done. The problem is that our tax-paying money is going out there to get completely wiped out and wasted with gotcha policy, regulation through enforcement, and they're not doing their job. We're paying them to do a job, and they're not doing their job. So hopefully this bill comes through, we get a little bit of Democrat support on it, and they realize that, look, Gary, you got to go. You're wasting taxpayers' money. So
what I want you to do right now, I'm putting you on the spot. If you're okay with it, let me know before I put you on the spot. Are you okay with, you're going to be our TA section today? Can we go through a couple more coins?
Absolutely. Let's go.
All right. So as we're doing that, think through a couple coins you want to bring up. While we're doing that, while you're bringing those up, I just wanted to shout out right here on my page. Make sure you come over to the BitLab Academy Twitter page that has the gold check and the hit thing right here. Follow, hit that retweet, hit the like button. This enters you to win. This last week we gave away $100. We've given away multi-month memberships. We've given away lifetime memberships to BitLab Academy and Indicators. So this is how you enter. All you have to do is come and sharing us with the community to your people. And also make sure you're coming over and following Army Piper right here at Army Piper. And then of course you can follow my own page, which is right here at Kelly Kellam. It's got the blue check and the hit logo right here. And that's all I got to say. Throwing it back to you, Mr. Piper. And take us through some TA. What's standing out to you? What should we be looking at?
So first off, let's go look at Bitcoin. Where is this Bitcoin chart? So Bitcoin dominance here, guys. That's what I've been watching, keeping an eye on over here. We can see that Bitcoin dominance is continuing to push up. It did have, let me bring it into a little bit of focus here. I'm looking at the daily chart on Bitcoin dominance, kind of running stagnant right here. But we're above this upper trade band. So first off, we're back inside that trade circle. I could see us breaking 50% here on the Bitcoin dominance easily. Breaking out, you can see that we fought quite a bit on this upper trend line here. But now that we've gotten above it, it's just taken off. I want to point out something. Let's see if you know this, Kelly. What happened the last time that Bitcoin dominance was static over 50%? Not a wick up above it, but stayed there. Do you remember?
I can't say that I do. Because it would have been before this 2-year period that we've been tracking sideways in the range.
Absolutely. I'll go show you. The last time we were at a 50% was right here on a perfect retest. Let me bring it in a little bit better for you. Perfect retest of the 50% line. That was back in 2018, August 2018. It's what led to the entire bull run that happened. So this is the last time we broke 50 and we're about to do it. So if we hit that, be watching out. That could be another confirmation point that we're going to the upside. Something else that I want to show here. Let me just go in here and pull up.
Well, I do want to say, just so everybody's clear, we have to remember there's an interesting, funny thing about dominance is dominance going up or down does not directly relate to, if dominance goes up on Bitcoin, it doesn't mean price is going up.
No,
it means that it's suffering less. It could also mean that it's suffering less than altcoins. If altcoins are dumping and Bitcoin stays the same, dominance will also go up. But at the end of the day, what are we talking about over this last year and a half? Is basically all of 2022, and then now on each one of these corrections in 2023. It's about, especially with the uncertainties in the global economy and what's happening with monetary policy. It's been at the forefront of everybody's sort of mind that's going to make it in this industry, and that's capital protection. And if we're not looking at Bitcoin dominance and we're involved in the digital asset ecosystem, then we're not looking at the metrics that we need to make sure we're making sure that our capital is allocated in our portfolios to benefit the most on market movements.
Right. No, absolutely. and I point that all the time. Dominance is not price. But that was the lead in. That literally was the end of 2018 going into 2019, where that Bitcoin dominance went up. So let's go ahead and take a look here. I want to show you this. This is a halving chart for Bitcoin halving. Okay. And I've got it running all the way back to the 2011 time period. Going forward with the to current time, and it's in a Fibonacci channel. And if you put this on here and you take a look at it, you can see the tops previously had hit the 0 line. Bottoms never broke the golden pocket. This right here was the Roro dump, the Roro dippity do, and it's still caught in the golden pocket. If you take a look at where we were at here on this bear market, and let me pull this into play because this is a really big chart, guys. But I promise you, it's got a purpose. We had about 2 months in the golden pocket, and then we broke out. We had a perfect retest on it, and then down she goes, right? If we take a look over here, where we're doing right now, you can see that, and even if this is a weekly chart, if I bring this into like a daily here, you can see that we're kind of trading in this channel. That's a downward channel. So if I go over here, we pull on the parallel channel right there. There we go. Throw it on here. You'll see that we're just kind of trading in this channel. Guys, these typically break to the upside 70% of the time. So I don't know how far down we're actually going to grind here, but based on what I'm watching for here is going to be the 786 line below. and the golden pocket above. I think as we go into the next halving event, that we're going to actually see this bouncing on the 786 here at some point. I don't know when it's going to be, but even if it was right now, that's 20,700. It's not going to create a new low. I don't see us breaking the golden, the platinum pocket here, the 786 at all. I see us hitting the next cycle, and this is a little price prediction here. I don't like to do them, but I will absolutely do it on Bitcoin based on this. I think we're going to be at the 786 to the golden pocket when we hit the next halving event, and that would put a low at 37,600 with the high as 68,200. If Bitcoin dominance continues up, I could see Bitcoin being closer to that golden pocket level going into the halving event. So I wanted to point that out real fast. But now let's get back to some local prices here, because you can see XRP is starting to get down to that dynamic reactor and that trend assist that I was just talking about to you guys. What else you want to see? We looked at some Bitcoin. We can take a look at Ethereum if you want, but you tell me what you want to see. You can throw anything at me. I'm ready to run here. Let's go.
Let's look at Ethereum, and let's look at we got six or 8 minutes left. Let's do a little. I call at the end of the show when I'm trying to cram as much as possible in to just to give the people what they're paying for. By the way, everybody, you pay by hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button, and dinging that bell. Okay, but. Do Ethereum, Cardano, and if you can fit in any other coin, let's do that. We'll do some Turbo TA here at the end.
Sweet. Yeah, I can do Turbo TA, man. Paul Barron's tried to throw the best at me, and I rocked it. So let's go. I can handle you, Kelly.
Yeah, let's do it.
Taking a look on the drop of Ethereum here, guys. Like I told you, I was watching for that 1700 mark. It is continuing down right towards that. We are about to hit a momentum wave here, which is going to align beautifully with what we're seeing on that golden pocket for the bounce there. And let's see here. I want to see what we've got. Yeah, we're breaking back down into this wedge. If you look at where the green line on this chart pattern is right here on this falling wedge right now, this is also going to be right in the middle of the golden pocket also. So that's what I'm watching for there. We are starting to get a rejection on the 0 line of the Oscillator Pro here, which is telling us that this could be getting a bounce to come down. But dynamic money flow, the MFI money flow index on the Trend Fusion Oscillator is looking pretty good on the uptick right now. This little thing down here, I encourage you to go check this out, Kelly. It's called RSI Primed. It's a free indicator. It actually turns the RSI line into candlesticks, and then it can register candlestick patterns for engulfing. So if I go back here and show, like back here, we got the engulfing candle pattern that printed up here before the drop. I'm watching to see how low we get on the price over here to see if we get the RSI to come back down on RSI primed and give us that bullish engulfing, which would probably be in the range of that 1700 in the golden pocket again. So I'll be watching for this, but yeah, you should throw this on. It's absolutely free. And I can't imagine trading without it now because it's so cool of a concept. But yeah, that's the Ethereum that I'm looking at right there. And you guys know the levels. I'm like, again, golden pocket, just throw it on there. It's 1675, 1700 for the bounce point that I'll be looking into long going into FOMC for tomorrow. You said you wanted to check out ADA. Let's pull up ADA and see what ADA's looking like right now. ADA's getting a hard rejection right now under the mats here, guys. This is a just go up here. Give me 1 second. I gotta remember the name because it's an acronym. You know, acronyms in the military. Moving average trend sniper. We are right now breaking back below that. It had been our support line here in the momentum wave, and right now we're breaking back below the mats, guys. So
hey, Army Piper, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you call a guy with no arms and no legs at your door?
Matt. What do you call a guy with no arms, no legs floating in the water?
Bob, what do you call a guy with no arms and no legs on your wall?
Art.
There you go. sorry to anybody with no arms and no legs. My apologies.
Yeah, insensitive ass. All right, so watching ADA here, guys. ADA is starting to get curvature on its ribbon line here. I'm going to be watching for a pinch twist here. When we get these twists in the ribbon, that normally gives you an indication that we're getting ready to change directions. For example, here, coming down, here, We got a little bit of an uptick, but it broke off the breaker block and got rejected back down. I'm going to be watching for that up here. I like to see these ribbon twists and then the momentum dot pulling back into the cloud to give me some indication of where we're heading. But right now it is coming back down. The RSI prime also bouncing off of its zero line, but money flow still coming up. So it's a little weird. MFI is saying that money's coming in, and the trend is still green. It hasn't turned red yet, but we're getting this big downturn. I would say in the next 4 hours, if we don't get support somewhere in the range here of about 26 cents to 25.5 cents, then this is all going to be looking very ugly and downside. So what else you got for me?
I think that's it. I think maybe let's look at, can you do AVAX and H-bar?
Absolutely. Let's do H-bar. Let me pull up the H-bar here. I made quite a bit of money on H-bar this year.
Yeah.
H-bar has been good to me. Taking a look at H-bar here. Right now we are sitting well below the predictive ranges here. Let me go to a 12-hour because I think a 12-hour is going to give me a better idea. Yeah, we're hitting pretty low on the bottom right now. You can see that the ribbon has turned back green. And when you get this really tight cloud on our oscillator like this, it typically means that something big's about to happen and move. On the 12-hour, it could get a little bit tighter, but money flow is way down low. We do have the Trend Fusion ribbon coming up. We do have the Oscillator Pro ribbon coming up, and we did get the uptick and that green momentum dot that I was talking about in the cloud. I think H-bar is probably in the range of its major support right now. Let me throw on one thing and see how this works out. Let's go with the local. This is going to give us a 12-hour. Let me get on a daily here. Daily, and then a 4-hour. 4 hours. There we go. And we're going to put all these on local mode. This is going to be the multi-time frame support resistance, and let's see if anything's popping up down here. We can see there's a lot above us, but there's nothing below us. So I'm going to have to go macro on those. And then we'll see if we can get any support or resistance, any support coming in below us on this measurement. No, it doesn't look like it right now. I'll tell you, man, H-bar, H-bar, as weak as it looks, I think you could get in on this somewhere back in this cluster right here. I think we may come back for a liquidity grab at these wicks coming in at about 4.3 cents. And that would be a good idea for if you're looking for an entry for traders or for hodlers. The money flow it's going to come up eventually here, and it's probably going to be everything moving tomorrow with Bitcoin on the FOMC. I think when the FOMC data comes out, it's going to be the mover. It's going to be the catalyst for that uptick on H-bar. And the last one you asked before was AVAX.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, let's get AVAX in here and see what AVAX is looking like. Oh, AVAX. AVAX is probably going to continue down a little bit here. It does look like the money flow is still coming down, and we did have the reversal indicator here, but now with Bitcoin moving the way it's moving, I could see this coming down a little bit further, breaking these wicks in a very, very short term. I would be looking at about, why am I looking at the crypto cap? Don't give me the crypto crap. AVAX. There we go. Coinbase. Let's grab that one on. Yeah, I do see that we could be grabbing all of this liquidity down here of these wicks at about 11:10. You can see that we do have the ribbon coming up, but the money flow is still coming down. So don't be surprised if we come down this little bit, grab that, and then bounce. Look for 11:06, somewhere in that range for the bounce there.
Yeah, Crimson, one of our community members, he might watch you as well. Crimson Caravan Company also said there's a huge AVAX unlock coming up soon. For anybody that doesn't know what that means, there's certain tokens that are locked up that are basically early investor or developers that they're essentially vested on an unlock schedule, and there's different periods of time you can see on the roadmap of any asset. This is why you need to do diligence, so you don't get blindsided. Well, how come all of a sudden the price is dropping? Well, sometimes if there's supply that's flooded onto the market, aka a token unlock, that will drive the value of the price down. And some of that is sell the news, but or sell the news. Wait, sell the rumor, buy the news.
Buy the rumor, sell the news.
Well, I think it would be opposite. I think it would be opposite for an unlock.
Oh yeah,
people,
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yep,
people would be
for sure.
expecting because if there's more supply, then that means demand has less of an effect, aka you drive the price down. But hey, Army Piper, I got to wrap it here because I have to end so I could throw it over to the BitBoy show because they're starting here in a second. But I love having you on. Let's make this either every week, every other week. I'd love to have you on and pick your brain.
Yeah, I'd love to come on, man, and we need to get you back on Investing Bros soon.
Let's do it, my friend. I really appreciate you coming on, completely unplanned. Everybody throw one in chat right now if you like anything that Army Piper said. If you hated everything he said, put a one in chat. It's the same thing because either way, he's stirring your thoughts, and that's what we want. And I know everybody's going to be putting some ones because you like what he said. Now, Army Piper, I'll be talking with you offline here. I'm gonna throw it back to wrap out the show. Big love to you, my friend. Keep doing what you're doing, and thank you for your service, my friend.
Same, bro. Thanks for having me on, man.
Absolutely. Everybody, before we go, make sure you come and check out bitlabacademy.com. If you want to understand what the heck we're talking about when we're talking about price action, chart formations, on-chain data, we have all of it here in BitLab Academy. All you have to do is come up right here to the top right, click this enroll now, and you have 3 different options. You can do the Pro, which basically includes all access to the courses, all the indicators, as well as Ray Pulse, as well as a premium Discord, all at one price. You basically get about it's roughly 30% off of everything combined together. Ends up being $97 a month. Or you could do the free. You could do free, and that just gives you the basic understanding of what Bitcoin blockchain and the beginner's course. Or you can just get the basic all access pass, which is just the courses and the premium Discord. And for this one right here, you can use Give Me 30 for 30% off this price at checkout. Just put in the code Give Me 30. You get that. Now, before you go, make sure you come over to Army Piper. Give him a follow right here at Army Piper, and make sure you come give me a follow at Kelly Kellam, Kelly Kellam, and come to BitLab Academy at Academy BitLab. Hit that retweet, hit that like button. You get entered to win. We'll be drawing on Friday. With that, I love you all. I bid you adieu. Have a wonderful day. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for tuning in. BitLabAcademy.com.